Should be working. Let me open the chat. Let me take a moment till it confirms. Yeah, we should be live. Hello, guys. How are you doing? Hope you're all good and profitable from the very start of 2026. Let me open the chat right here and let me notify Discord and Telegram community. But before I do that, I don't think that JV needs the introduction, but for those of you who are here for the first time, this is JV, a trader, a decent one, and at the same time, a performance coach at the 8 Markets. And today he prepared for you a really special session, especially because it's first week of 2026. The market are still somehow starting. It's very slow on volatility. So what's the better time to prepare ourselves for the upcoming year? And Absolutely. Trading is not just about strategy and technical analysis, fundamentals. It's also about mindset. The trading psychology itself is very important part of the trading. So I think the insights that JV is going to share today with you might change your perspective on how to enter the 2026 strong.
Thank you, Jake, and welcome everybody. Our best wishes for everyone here on the call and everybody in the E8 family for this 2026 that's just starting out and looks very, very promising for everyone, right? With all the things that are going on in the markets, it couldn't be better year to achieve your goals, especially with the things going around the world and everything. You know, as traders, we thrive in volatility. So hopefully this year is going to be an amazing year in that sense.
Yeah, I bet so. I hope so, at least. I mean, really, if we get to prepare well for the year, I think we can make it better than what was happening in 2025. I mean, reflecting to 2025 and coming into the new year as a better version of yourself. So I think today's session, from what have you told me, and I think it's going to be a really great session, is all about 3 things that if you are willing to change them. Is that correct?
Yeah. We're actually going to dive deep into those 3 things that we were talking about in the in social media that you guys posted, and we're going to dive deep into that. And I hope you guys like it and resonates with you, because it is very important to understand that there are things that, you know, when a year starts out and you have like new renovated emotions and dreams and goals and ideas to achieve new things, it's important to not only have those things present in your life, but also have the tools to achieve whatever you want, right? Whatever goals you want, whatever goals you decide. So in this call, we're gonna talk about the very specific things that you can start doing right now, not tomorrow, not next week or next Monday, but today, literally, right? In this call, because winners take action immediately. That's what it is, right? Winners in the markets, winners in life, winners in businesses, they take action right away. So we're gonna talk about some of those things today, and definitely knock it out of the park this year, because you guys have, I think there's no better time to be a trader, right? I mean, listen, when I started out trading, guys, the word mindset, it was still hyphened, mindset. So you can tell how long I've been in this game, right? And when I first started out trading, the number one thing I thought, because I didn't have a mentor, I didn't have any idea of what I was doing. I just opened an account and I was like, okay, what do I need to do? And this is true story, 100%. Believe it or not, I went to the newsstand that was around the corner of my home back then, right? And bought the Financial Times, let's say. It's a Financier. It's a different newspaper. But I thought that reading that newspaper that contained all the information of the economic data and information about companies, blah blah blah, I was going to kind of know what to start doing in the markets. So that's how far my career goes in trading, right? Imagine today that you start out in trading and you don't know what to do. Like, Okay, what should I do? Okay, should I open an account? Man, I didn't even know what the difference was between a broker and a trader. I didn't know. Like the broker. What does that mean? Break. I didn't know. I kid you not, Jake. I didn't know those things back then. Well, of course, YouTube was not in the, it was not even a thing. It didn't even exist. Internet and the things that were going on. I mean, Facebook was the number one thing going on back then, right? Facebook was already big, blah, blah, blah. And we didn't even have social media. So I want you to transport now, like 15, 20 years later, and think all of the resources, all of the information, all of the, you know, all of the easiness that we have today to learn not only trading but anything, right? If I would like to be a dolphin trainer, I could go online and find probably a couple hundred videos on how to be the best dolphin trainer, blah blah, and understand and really dive deep into that and become the best dolphin trainer in a week or a month or whatever, right? That's the era that we're living in.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, okay, if you type in, trading videos in YouTube or whatever, I think the number is like close to 8 million videos that would take probably, 300 years to watch. Makes no sense. So the problem that we have now is that overwhelming amount of information and disinformation, right? Because you type in, fair value gap in YouTube, and you're going to find probably not less than what 2,000 videos. And the thing is that who do you pay attention to? Who do you listen to? Like, who is the guy that actually knows what he's talking about? And that's, I think, the most important challenge that aspiring traders or newer traders have today. Because back then, I wish I had something in video. I remember the first course or program that I took on stock market investing. I had to wait, and again, I'm not exaggerating, I had to wait a year and a half to have the first video session of technical analysis, right? Because it was a seminar that was in 3 parts, and the first part, it was 2 months ahead, and then you had to wait 3 or 4 months for the second part, and then another 4 months for the third part. And then I couldn't take that because I had a wedding and I had to wait another few months. So in total, like, it was about 18 months for the first time in, from knowing what the stock market was until I had the first, the first impression of a chart and looking at a computer screen and looking at a chart and knowing what a candlestick was. It took me 18 months. Right now, if you're not a trader and you hear friends saying, okay, let's trade, you go online and it takes you 18 seconds to find anything, right? Not 18 months. So I want you to guys think about that for a minute right now. And also think about the way that you need to focus and you need to be much more selective with what goes through your head, what goes through your eyes, and what goes through your ears, right? Because right now, everybody has a voice. Everybody can say, hey, look, I'm a great trader, look, here's my screenshot. And now with AI, I can, hey, ChatGPT, generate this image, and now I have $35 million in an empty for account, and I'll show you it, and I'll show it to you in a screenshot, whatever, in a camera, and you will fall for it, right? So the big question is, who do you listen to? So first, have access to people that resonate with you and that have what you want and that have been where you are right now. So that would be my first filter to anything that you come across. Even the things that we say in these calls, is for you to think about, to have discernment on what the things that we're saying all the time to you, because we don't want you to think like we think. We want you to think like you have to think for yourself. Being and becoming an independent trader, an independent thinker, a critical thinker, it's crucial for a trader, right? That does not mean that you don't follow anyone and you have to isolate and do your own thing. No, but you have to have a very healthy amount of discernment to understand who is saying, the truth and who is just bullshitting you, basically. But anyway, so do you want me to go ahead and talk about what we're going to talk about
Yeah,
today,
we
or do you
can.
have
We
any
can. I
questions?
mean, what you said is also very important, and I like that we can create another session about basically receiving the informations, which informations to avoid. Because as you said, there's so much on the internet, there's so much on YouTube, so it's complete chaos sometimes, and you then maybe jumping from one information to another, eventually making it even harder for you to succeed in the markets or to learn the
Absolutely.
specific topic that you're trying to learn or the information that you're trying to get. But I would like to get back to the topic that we have prepared for today, and
Absolutely.
I'm just looking into it, and you basically have written down that the first thing is, what are you willing to change? And I mean, everyone would like to change, but sometimes it's hard. There's so many factors around it. So, what do you specifically mean about what are you willing to change as a trader, or is it? Firstly, would like to. Is it meant to be for the trading, or is it also for the personal, so you can benefit from both?
That Jake, that is one of the best questions you have asked in the streaming, man. It's so important. Let me tell you why. When you what is you know what the most important decision a trader makes?
Most important decisions that
Yeah.
trader makes.
Yeah. Do you know what
But
the most important decision that a trader makes, like any time?
going for the trade, or what do you mean
That is
specifically?
important, but it's not the most important. The most important decision a trader can make in his career or his life is the day he or she wants to become a professional trader.
Oh, like that, yeah.
And the day that you are like, this is it, this is for me, and I'm getting the goosebumps and everything, because I remember that day in my life many years ago. It was like, no matter how long this is going to take, no matter, I don't know anything. No, I don't know how it's going to happen, but it's going to happen. And if it's going to
Mhm.
take a year or a freaking decade, I'm going to make it. Right.
Mm,
That
yeah.
is the day. For some is the first week, for some is the first year, for some is, 3 4 years, and it changes for everybody. But I think and I believe that the number one most important reason for a trader is to decide if you're going to become a professional. And answering your question, when you have clarity on that decision and you now know that you want to become a professional trader, then there's no life outside of trading and life with trading, right? For
That's
me,
true, yeah.
everything is about trading. And listen, when you go that deep and you get that obsessed, of course it can get a little bit, interesting, because everything in my life is about, like, I go to the restroom and I'm thinking about trading. I go to the movies and I'm thinking about trading. I'm playing with my
Yeah.
son, I'm thinking about trading. I'm eating a meal and I'm thinking about trading, man. Like, I'm eating an spaghetti and I'm thinking about the probability of an spaghetti coming, longer than like it is in me all day long. I go to bed
Hmm.
and I'm visualizing my trades. I wake up and I'm visualizing, how the day is going to unfold in the markets. Like, it doesn't end, and
Yeah.
it does not have like a division. So, but when you're into that journey, you have to find also like a healthy relationship with your trading. It just can't consume you. But
Hmm.
if you learn to work with it every day, then you understand that everything you do as a person translates in your trading, and everything you do in your trading will translate as well in your life as a person, in
Yeah.
your relationships, in your job, in your family dynamics, in your with your spouse or your girlfriend or boyfriend, or in your business partners, if you have other businesses or job, whatever, right? It translates to both sides. When you
Hmm.
make that decision, you will realize that there's no division, because you're one person, and the one person that's having a dream on a Friday night of becoming a millionaire is the same person that's going to attack the markets on Friday morning when they have to be, sharp, not distracted, plan in hand, and making good disciplined decisions. So it's the same person, right?
Hmm.
The problem is when you see, separation, and then you're like, okay, no, I'm a doctor, and then I'm a trader. And that could be, it's not that it's a problem, but when you have a singleness of purpose, when you have one thing to do in your life, which is becoming the best trader that you can be, right?
Hmm.
If that means making $10,000 a month or making $10 million a year, it doesn't matter. It's your definition. It doesn't, the number, it doesn't matter, man. There's always somebody that's going to have a lot more than you. Even if you make $1 billion today in trading, there's somebody that's going to make more, right? And there's
Yeah.
always somebody that's going to be behind you as well, always. So it's always relative. Doesn't matter the money, the amounts. That's why I don't post pictures of or screenshots of the money in the trades, because to me as a performance coach is completely irrelevant.
Hmm. Yeah.
What good does it make for anyone that I show you that today I made $2,755 or 25,000? Like, okay, okay, he's good. All right. Maybe, it's a proof that you can listen what I'm saying. But, let's start off with the first things that have to do with your thinking and the way that you resonate with people. So, yes, everything that you do in trading and everything that you can start dreaming about trading and in your life will permeate to your both areas of your life and your trading. And that's something that you need to understand as a trader, and as a, if you're a family man, if you're a student, if you have, if you're 18 years old or 65 years old, it doesn't matter. As long as it becomes one thing in your life, your trading becomes your life, right?
Yeah.
With whatever that means to you, that's a good thing, because now you know that this is challenging. Trading as a career is challenging. I don't want to say it's hard, but it's a very challenging career. And to be good at this, you need to transform yourself into an exceptional person. That
Mm-hmm.
is, and you just said it, like the best version of yourself. Great. Yes, that's a great idea. And that's very, very true. But to be a good trader or to be a great trader, you have to transform into someone completely different from what you are today if you're not even profitable, right?
Yeah.
So the one thing, and you were talking about, what are you willing to change? And we're going to talk about at the end of the call about goal settings and other things, but which is very important for to start out the year. But the three things that I wanted to talk about today was, first, what are you willing to change, right? Because
Yeah.
a year starts and you're motivated and you're enthusiastic and you're like, you have this, okay, I have 12 months to make it happen. Listen, we don't know. I see people, dropping out for whatever reason the next day, man. Or I see people that waste their lives and they live, to 90, smoking, whatever. So you don't have 12 months. You have the rest of your life. If it's one day or 100 years, great. But I would say, the division of a new year is just a mental division. It's just
Hmm.
it's just a social thing, because from December 31st to January 1st, if you go out and look out the window, it looks exactly the same. Right? You look at your hands, you look at yourself in the mirror, and you're like the same guy, right? Or the
Hmm.
same
Yeah. Yeah.
girl, right? It doesn't change. It's more like a mental thing. It's like when your birthday is like, oh my God, I'm 25 and now I'm going to be 26, or I'm 30 and now I'm going to be 35, whatever. And then you see something different. That's completely psychological. It doesn't matter as long as you have a clarity that what you want to achieve. So yes, we have 12 months and we have seasonalities in the markets. Of course, it's different to trade in January and February than to trade in, May or June, or to trade in
Hmm.
September and October than to trade the last couple of weeks of December. Yeah, there's of course seasonality in the markets. We cannot treat the same way the markets, if you're trading an NFP at the beginning of the first month of the year, which is this Friday, which is tomorrow, than the last Friday of August, when the volume is completely dry because everybody's out on vacation. So it's different, right? There's seasonalities. However, when you're thinking about changing something to achieve your goals, I want you guys to think about all the things that did not work in your trading the last year, right? If you're disciplined, if you have, a healthy level of discipline in your life and in your trading, and you're writing down, I've been in this business for much more than a decade, and I write down every single day, about the markets, about my life, about my thoughts, about my visualizations, like everything, my ideas. I have ideas all the time, and I write them down, right? So if you are some, if you have some degree of discipline, and you're writing things down in your trading, in your journal, whatever, right? Look up for those things that did not work, right? And observe them and ask yourself if you're willing to change those things. For example, let me give you a personal example. One of the things that gets me very, very distracted when I'm looking at the markets, when I'm trading, is having family matters getting messed up, because it's in the morning, blah blah, and then you're trying to focus and you're trying to do other things. So for me, it's distractions in my case, right? So if I want to achieve the goals that I have for this year, right, my personal goals in trading, right, and in my business, the personal things that or the specific goals that I have, I know that there are some things that I need to change to achieve those things. For example, I like to work out before engaging with the markets. I've noticed, right, that if I work out right before the market opens, I'm and I'm distracted with what's going on with my body, right? Because I'm sweating, I need to take a shower, I'm uncomfortable, blah blah. So I need to change the time that I go to work out, and I want to go work out, earlier in the morning, and I wake up, let's say at 7, and at 7, there's a lot going on here with the family, blah blah. So I cannot go work out. So I have to change the time I wake up. So I have to wake up at 6 a.m. Right? But if I wake up at 6 a.m. and I go to bed at 10:30 or 11, I'm not going to sleep enough, and I'm going to feel groggy, and I'm going to feel tired during the morning. So what do I have to change to achieve my goals better? If you can see, it's a change of events. I have to stop watching TV, at 9 p.m. If that is the thing, right? Or I have to turn off the light no later than 9 or 9:30 p.m. so that if I want to go work out the next morning, I wake up at 6 a.m., I go work out, and then I do visualizations and journaling, and then I take a shower and take care of my family until 9 a.m., and then I start, analyzing the market and get ready for market open, which is 9:30 my time. So what do I have to change? That specific thing. It's just one thing. And I can name you, 3 or 4 or 5 different things. So
there's so many. Sorry to jump in. There's so many things that traders would. I mean, you can guys let us know in the chat. I mean, I can set some specific examples as well from my day-to-day life, what I would like to change, but it's really hard. And someone actually reminded me in the chat about the trader that we've reviewed at the very start of 2026 when I had the first stream, and we reviewed the trader. Just going to give you this example. It's a Benjamin US-based trader who is 21, and he was trading out of 220 days. He was trading 210 days. So he missed just 10 days throughout 2025 because he started trading somewhere in March. And he was very, very disciplined, very consistent. And at the same time, he's working job and he's studying college and he's trading. So all 3 things. So basically, I then reflect to my personal life. Like I'm saying, okay, this guy at 21 doing all that stuff. And sometimes I catch myself, I don't know, either watching reels or doing something that I shouldn't be doing. Is there some sort of a holy grail how, I don't know, have it tattooed on your body, get to work, or have it change wallpapers on your phone, on your desktop, just to convince you to do the things that you set up to do.
Yeah, man, it's also a very, very important question, and good question. I would say, and kudos to this guy that has a job and it's studying college and traded 210 days out of the year. That's
Yeah.
phenomenal, right? It sounds like a disciplined person. At 21,
Yeah.
definitely. I would say, Jake, first you need to take the things out. You know, performance and high performance and peak performance and progress in life and production in life, right? Productivity, I should say, is not about adding more things in your life. It's about taking things out of your life that do not add value to your activities and to your goals and to your single purpose, right? So I would dare to say that this guy that's been very disciplined with his life in the last year, and studying and working and trading, blah blah blah,
Yeah.
has a very clear purpose of becoming a good trader, finishing his career, his college, whatever, and doing good, being good at his job. Probably if you ask him what other goals do you have, he was, I don't know the guy, but he would probably say nothing else. Like, because if you have clarity on what you want to achieve, and you have enough motivation, and remember what we said about motivation last time we spoke. Motivation is your motive, the reason. It's not the enthusiast, the enthusiasm that you feel, or the aliveness and, oh my god, I'm joyful, I'm happy. That's not motivation alone. Motivation is just the motive. Motivation is, I have a very clear reason why I want to achieve this today, right? And when you have that clarity, then you have to stop eating crap. Because if you stop eating crap, then you're going to have more energy. And if you have more energy, you're going to work out. And if you work out, you're going to have better energy. And if you have better energy, you're going to have better discipline. And if you have better discipline, you're going to manage your priorities better. And if you manage your priorities better, you're going to have more time in your day. And if you have more time in your day, you have you have better productivity. And if you have better productivity, you're going to have more time to increase the productivity on the areas that you see. But it all starts with one thing, and it's usually the hardest habit, and the things that we do the most unconsciously, that hurts us the most, right? So
may I just quickly ask you, sorry to jump you in, may I just quickly ask you, because I think you're a disciplined person, and from time to time, everyone, whenever you are trained to be disciplined, you get out of the track of you being disciplined. Is there some secret that you have, or something practical that you do once you basically fell out of your discipline routine, or from your consistency, to get back on a track? Because it's like setting up the discipline for me, it was always like filling out the calendar with what I need to do, not what I want to do, what I need to do in that day, to feel like I was productive, like I do things efficiently, and that I'm basically disciplined and consistent. But then, like, after a few days, something comes up. I mean, I like cars, so I see a random video on YouTube, and then I spend like an hour watching something that I shouldn't be doing because it doesn't help my goal, some supercars or whatever it can be. So do you have some sort of a tip, or do you have some secret that you do once that happens to you?
Yes, man. Another excellent question, and I have many tips on that. But first, let's talk about a little bit about discipline. Listen, when you are tired AF, when you are not sleeping well, when you're not eating well, when you're not resting, recharging, recovering, you cannot expect to have discipline. Simple as that.
Okay.
Simple as that. Like, it would be the same as, okay, I expect to drive my car from, let's say, Miami to New Orleans on an empty tank. Is it going to happen? You know what? In the first, if the tank is completely empty, in the first 10 minutes, the car is just gonna, turn off. It's just gonna stop. It's gonna break down. So
Yeah.
if my expectation was to, oh my God, what am I doing wrong? I'm not a disciplined guy because I cannot, I cannot drive this car with an empty tank. It's the same thing. If you're trying to become or be a disciplined person, but the other areas in your life are not aligned with discipline. And that's when performance comes in, right? People want to fix all of it, or all of their trading problems or challenges with just psychology. Like thinking, oh my God, I need to be more disciplined. I need to be disciplined. Oh, I need to be patient. Listen, that's why psychology or trading psychology is just one part, a very tiny part of trading performance, which is what we do, right? And what we're going to be talking about at the end of the call very quickly of the Trading Performance Mastery Program. But trading performance has to do in a more holistic way with the things that are going around with your life, right? Because if you are unable to hold a winner when you're in profit, and the trade is going your way and you're in profit, and you want to take that that trade off because or that trade out because you want to take the profit, or you are not able to respect your risk limits, or you're removing your stop and then you're hitting your head again against the wall because you did it again for the 700th time, right? You need to look in a mirror and say, why am I not disciplined? And you're going to be talking shit to yourself, excuse my French, but you're going to be saying bad things to yourself like, hey, Jay, you're not disciplined. JV, you're not disciplined. You're a piece of muscle, something like that. And you're, bad guy. You don't have, patience. You need to be better, blah, blah. And you're like scolding yourself. That's the worst thing that you can do. And we're going to be talking about self-talk and other things later on other calls. But you need to realize first the reasons why you're not being disciplined in your life. So listen, discipline in real life, in outside of trading, will translate 100% into discipline, or 99% into discipline in your trading, right?
Yeah.
If you said last night, I am going to wake up at 5:30 in the morning because I want to, go run, which is something hard in the mornings to go run when it's at night, and it's cold, blah, blah. And you said the night before, I'm going to wake up, right? And you don't do it, you're breaking your own word. So how are you going to, trust yourself the next time because you broke your own word? So it's always a cycle. It's always a cycle. But you also know your limits. Okay, so if I wake up at 5:30, I can do it and I will, stretch, but then I will be at 10 a.m. when the market is open, I'm going to be falling asleep. So, okay, so it's not 5:30, maybe it's 6:30. And then you negotiate with yourself, but still you stretch. And then you don't break your word. And when you start having small wins in different areas of your life, right? Can be your habits, your sleeping habits, your working habits, your relationship habits, your emotional habits, right? Your thinking habits. If all of those things, you start having small wins every time, you're building, from the bottom up, a disciplined mindset. Discipline, Jake, is not about willpower. Willpower will run out. Especially, listen, if you last night went to, it's just an example.
Yeah.
I'm going to use myself. If last
You can
night,
use me, it's okay.
okay, if last night I went to the club, right? Because especially here in the city I live, there's always something going on all the time, no matter what. If I went to the club and went back to sleep at 4:30 a.m. and I'm expecting to be sharp and present and having good energy for this call at 10 a.m., 4 or 5 hours later, I'm not only being irresponsible, I'm being stupid because I'm assuming that I'm going to have the energy to do this, right? When you're talking, when you're presenting, it's just stupid. So traders that are like, hey, trade, sleep, repeat, man, that's not good performance. Even if you're 20, 21, 25 years old, right? When you have a lot of energy and a lot of testosterone and, blah, 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 all those things, and you can manage to not sleep for, a few nights and then still charge and still power through, good for you. But that's not sustainable. If you want to be in this career for 10, 15, 20 years, man, that's not sustainable. That's going to kill you.
Yeah.
So if you start looking and analyzing and identifying what areas in your life need a little bit more discipline, you can start having small wins. Another mistake is to try to fix everything from 0 to 100 all at once. Okay, I need
Yeah.
to fix my eating, I need to fix my workout habits, I need to fix my relationship with my girlfriend, I need to fix, I had a problem with in work and I'm going to fix everything this week. Man, that's not realistic.
With that being
Right.
said, what's a good timeline for this? Let's say, okay, I'll be doing it according to your tips. So I'll start with something small. Let's say I'll be running every morning or every second morning. I'll be going for the run. What's the timeline I should set up for this discipline routine until I add something more on the top of it, and then on the top of it something to eventually become like this big picture, the person that I want to be. So,
Mhm.
what is from your experience or from your knowledge? What is the timeline that I should be doing the first small tip and getting those wins till I basically slam on the pedal and I'll go all in?
Oh, well, for example, I trade indices, right? I trade
Hmm.
the S&Ps, and the S&Ps trade from 9:30 a.m. till, let's say, noon, right? So that's
Hmm.
that's my golden hour. I need the most energy, the most focus, the most presence in those times, right?
Hmm.
So my life is geared towards having that energy, having that presence, having that focus for that time. So
Okay.
all of the rest, because my priority is my trading, period.
Yeah.
My priority is my profitability, my priority is my discipline in trading. Even though I have to do other things to achieve this discipline in my trading, right? That is my priority. And that's where
Hmm.
motive becomes clear, and that's where motivation does not run out, because I'm not counting on having the willpower to just, oh, okay, I'm going to go and trade today. Sometimes you don't feel like trading. Sometimes you feel like lazy. Sometimes your hormones are, all over the place, or sometimes you're just not feeling well. That's very normal. We're human.
Hmm.
But what I've noticed that in my experience works and works for many other people that, are business owners or, professional traders, it's a routine, a very specific routine with what it's called habit stacking. Do something that turns into something afterwards, that turns into something afterwards. For example,
Hmm.
if you go in the gym in the morning and then after the gym you take a shower, and then after taking a shower you have breakfast, and then after having breakfast you write down, and then after writing down you analyze the market, and then you're ready to tackle the market at, whatever time it is for you, right? it's
Hmm.
it's a chain of events that need to happen in order for you to be ready for, when the action begins, right? Because remember, we're performers. Uh, Especially nowadays that most people are day traders, right? Most people are day traders, and they need to perform every single day, and they need to be present, and they need to show up for the markets, right? So I would say you can start stacking small habits that if one thing happens good in the morning, the next thing should happen as well, and the next thing as well, and the next thing, and it starts compounding. Remember, and I say this at length in the program, decisions compound. The
Hmm.
compound effect is not only applicable to money or credit cards, right, or stock market investments. It is a universal concept that applies to everything in the life, in your life or in life, right? Decisions compound. Thinking, thoughts also compound. For example, a good thinking habit is, um, when you take a loss, right? And you're thinking to yourself, because you're in your trading station, whatever, you're not talking to anyone, but you're talking to yourself. You take a loss, instead of saying, "Oh, you stupid, blah blah blah, you did it again," but you're not saying it, you're thinking it. Oh my God, I'm so, such a fool. I shouldn't have taken this trade. I knew it was going up, and why did I take a short? Blah blah blah. And you're talking this stupid stuff to yourself. That is a very bad, terrible habit. Why? Because we know losses happen to you, to me, to traders that have been trading 40, 50 years, happen to the guy that's starting out this month. It's normal. Losses are the cost of doing business in this business. So understanding what a loss is, and it's the cost of doing business, and talking to yourself in that matter, like, oh my God, yes, I should have, maybe if I had put my stop here instead of here, okay, let me take a note. Blah, 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 blah. And you're learning and you're transforming that experience of losing, $20 or $20,000, doesn't matter, right? Into a learning experience. So, okay, so I need to understand that when the market is doing that, and I had an insight, for example, yesterday, when I hesitated to take a trade in the afternoon session because it was a Tuesday and it was a slow Tuesday in the S&Ps, but I was, this looks like it could go up. I usually don't trade on Tuesdays because I don't like how the market moves on Tuesdays. I've been trading it for many, many years, and now I can say that, right? And I was looking at it, I was like, I don't like it. It's not high quality, high probability for me enough to engage. So I just marked it as a paper trade. I didn't take it. I missed it, and it went perfectly to my target, right? So of course the feeling is like, oh my God. Another guy would have said, oh my God, you freaking blah, blah, blah. Why did you do that? I should have taken the trade. I should have put 100 lots here and made $20,000. I could have go buy my Ferrari today. Stop. You're like, okay, why did I not take the trade? Oh, okay. So the Dow Jones was doing this, and okay, so it's a reversal, and I understood and I studied it, and that missed trade became a learning lesson in my journal. That's a good habit. I didn't talk to myself, oh, you stupid, ass, blah blah blah, I missed the trade. No, like, okay, I'm still learning. I've been doing this for more than 15 years, and I am a student of the markets more than ever, right? I'm still studying. So that's a good habit. Talking to yourself, good habit of thinking. Talking to yourself is good. And as I was telling you, this also compounds.
Yeah.
Because when you start thinking one bad thought, they call it ants. This guy, there's a book here that he calls them ants. Automatic negative thoughts. It's an ant that shows up in your brain, and then there's
smart.
one, and then there's 100 of them, and you're like talking shit to yourself, and you're like, oh my God, you're the worst trader, you don't know what you're doing, blah blah blah. And then what happens when your emotions are super high and your intelligence is the same as this chair? You revenge trade, you over trade, you over leverage. Right? You do all sorts of things because you're not thinking, you're just reacting. Your prefrontal cortex is completely shut down, and you're just reacting. You're just a monkey pushing buttons. And then people go, oh my God, I'm not a disciplined trader, I'm not a patient trader. No, you need to build discipline in your life. Change. We were talking about changing those things that are not working in your life, that that are not working, and start building from there, man. I'm not kidding. It works like magic. When you start, it can be really fast if you really commit, right? It's not immediate, but because discipline and good habits take time, we're human, right? We're not robots. But if you start looking and paying attention and having awareness in your life day in, day out of the things you do or you don't do that help you, right? That help you feel better, that help you think better, that help you behave better. When you hit, when you're opening your charts, you're not going to do better because in your life there's a mess, right? So remember, as you do one thing, you do everything. So if in your life you're having, success, you're having a good win because you said you were going to wake up early to go run or to go work out or to go meditate or write down or, make yourself a protein shake, whatever, right? Or call your parents or your best friends, whatever, and you did it, then you have a small win.
Yeah.
And then you have a second small win, and then a third, and then you build your career one day at a time. And one day at a time, it's built one decision at a time with routines and everything. And as you can see, we can go really, 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 really deep into this. Like there's no end to the depth. So we can talk about one specific little tiny thing.
That's what I like. And by the way, I like really the quote. I don't know. I heard that somewhere it probably was in a movie. the way you do one thing, you do everything, and it's really true. I like that a lot. Thank you for saying that. And also, I wanted to ask you, because now we've got an important decision to make. I've been reading chats. There are some very interesting questions. And so far, our plan was for this session to go through the 3 points that JV suggested that could
absolutely.
be perfect, which is what are you willing to change? Then what are you willing to give up? And then we're going to, or JV is going to reveal the third one,
Yes.
maybe the most important one. But what I wanted to ask you, if you guys in the chat and you, JV, want to separate it into 3 different sessions and basically try to do the second one and the third one next time, because we don't want to overwhelm you with information. I like listening to JV because he knows what he's talking about. It's not like influencers who get the answers from ChatGPT and they just read his transcripts. This is like really valuable. And I also don't want them to, like, you know what I mean? If traders will get too much information, they need to process this and then basically start to not behave, but start to take an action based on what they've learned. So my proposition is to today, we basically did discuss what are you willing to change, and we get to the discipline, the consistency as well, because those are, I believe, the most important factors, or the most common ones, the most common struggles among traders. And now if we can do the questions, so we don't miss on your questions, and the next session we would continue with what are you willing to give up. Do you agree, Chet and JV?
100%, man. Yeah.
Okay.
You're the CEO of this call. Yes.
Okay, perfect then. So I let traders to, as I said, process the informations that you said, and I'm probably going to watch it once again because there's something I definitely missed as well. And now I would like to ask you some of the questions from the chat to help with their specific problems, or not problems, challenges, struggles, or anything they are or they came across recently. And someone is asking, so let me just, before I read it out loud, JV, apart from money, from trading, what influenced you daily to trade every single day? And what if you were not trade? What do you? Yeah, I mean, if you wouldn't be trading, what you would be doing?
If I would not be trading, what would I be doing?
Yeah, but the question is apart from money, from trading, what influences you today to trade daily? Well, I mean, it could be general, like what influences you to at least analyze the markets daily if you're not trading daily.
Personal mastery, simple as that.
Personal mastery.
It's a lifelong journey, man. That's why I told you before, or I asked you, what is the number one decision that a trader can make is to become a professional trader, right? And become to marry trading, basically, right? Because it's not like, okay, I'm done trading, right? And what's next? The way I see it is, when you become a trader, you're a trader for the rest of your life. I was watching this interview with Larry Williams. He's been trading for 50 years and he's still trading, right? And the thing is that when you start really, really going into your trading journey, like whatever that looks like for you, then you start realizing that trading is just a tool for your personal development and your growth as a human being and as a person in general. Because if probably all of you know that 95% of people don't make it in this business in the short term, right? Only the long term. And there's the outliers, the 5%ers, the 1%ers that do incredibly well. And out of that 5 or 1% of the people that make it, there's another 5 or 1% of people that really, really knock it out of the park, right? With hundreds of millions of dollars. And then out of that, there's, another bunch of people, or another 1% that make, legendary trading with, billions of dollars. So what do I do, or what do I want in my trading? That's why, for example, missing a trade doesn't bother me in the least, right? I don't care about it. Of course, I would have liked to take in the trade with 100,000 lots, blah blah blah. Of course, everybody does. Everybody feels like that. But for me, it's a journey. It's the doing, right?
Mhm.
And you feel it when it's Friday afternoon and the markets are closed. You're like, hmm. You feel it like, oh my gosh, I have to wait until Monday.
Yeah, what I'm
Even
gonna do.
even if it was even if it was a bad week, you feel it because they're
Mhm.
like, oh, all right. But now you have your weekend and you are going to do other things with your family, friends, whatever, rest, whatever it is, right? But for me, it's the discovery of myself and the things that the market has to teach us as people, as person. We talk about discipline, we talk about patience, we talk about focus. Man, those things outside of trading are gold, are the most
Yeah.
valuable assets, are the most valuable principles that you will build in your life. Even if you do this for, let's say, 5 years and you make a couple $1 million or a few $1 million and you're feeling like, okay, you know what, I'm done. I don't have the trading bug anymore, and I can just walk and do something else, and put on a business or set up a business, another business, or go teach people or whatever. All of those things that you developed as a profitable, consistent, professional, successful trader are going to carry on to your life
Yeah,
forever,
that's true.
right? Right? So you're not going to become all of a sudden, undisciplined, or that patient that took you 1, 2, 3, 5, 10 years to master and to create in your life. It's going to carry on in your life forever. When you have kids, you're going to be more patient. When you're setting
Mhm.
up a business that it's not launching, that it's not taking off, um, you're going to be more patient. You're going to be more patient in your relationships. You're going to have a better thinking habits.
Mhm.
You're going to have way better emotional regulation, which of course translates into better relationships. And if you have better relationships, you have better quality of life. You have better opportunities. You have better, you know, um, a better outlet to feel better in your life in other areas, right?
Mhm.
So for me, trading is just the doing, right? Sometimes I don't make money because sometimes you follow your rules and you lose. You make some money, you lose it, and you're like, okay. Sometimes I have like phenomenal days and I'm feeling great, and sometimes I have great days and I'm feeling okay, like okay, it's another day. And sometimes I have shitty days and I'm like, okay, tomorrow's another day, right? I keep going. I I,
Yeah.
I don't see that. So for me, it's the personal mastery. That's why we're creating the trading
Mhm. The
the
performance.
performance trading mastery program, right? Because it's a mastery, it doesn't end. It's 8 modules of many more to come, and a lot more things that we need to address. And if I was not a trader, I would be a professional drummer or a professional car driver.
Interesting.
I'm a drummer as well, so yeah, I would be doing those things, or
Well, yeah, but still,
business owner.
you would apply the discipline in those two as well, right? So
Yeah,
you're not
business
going to
owner or
lose
whatever.
it.
Right. So I
Yeah.
don't know if I answered the question,
Yeah,
but
definitely, definitely. And another question which I like even more, which is now, let me find it. I'm sure because we were talking about the discipline, the consistency, and this came at the good moment. Yeah, here it is. Jay, can you ask JV? We should make a full year of trading goals or small, simple goals for 2, 3 weeks, achieve it, and then chase big goals. So should someone separate it? Like if you said, write it down. Should someone like cross the paper to half and then some short-term goals and long-term goals, or just long-term goals and short-term ways how to get to there?
phenomenal question. I love it.
Yeah.
And that's what I wanted to talk about today as well. Uh, Great question, to the person that asked it.
Hmm.
Listen, goals are very, very, very important. And now, if you're signed up to several newsletters or whatever, everybody's talking about, oh, the new year, new goals. You need new goals to achieve your dreams. Blah blah. Blah. That's very important, right? So answering the question very, very easily and succinctly would be: you not only need goals, you need 4 different layers of clarity when you're setting up a goal, right? Well, actually, it's five. The number one, or the first one, is your vision, which is your dream, right? It's like the vision that you have to become whatever, or to do whatever. Your vision can be become the best trader that's out there, or to change your family's, your family tree forever. You know, uh, to help retire your parents, or to pay off your mortgage, or to buy you a new Lamborghini or whatever, right? Or to pay
Mhm.
off debt, or to get you a new computer. It doesn't matter. Your vision is usually your biggest dream, right? Then after your vision comes your goals, right? Your goals are more specific ideas, but still can be a little bit broad, right? For example, the goal of this year is to make 500% return, right? That's a goal. That's a
Yeah.
very measurable, specific number that I want to achieve. And it's a personal thing. For example, 500%, right? In
Hmm.
my personal uh, example, right? That's my goal. Then you have to have objectives. Then after the objectives, you have to have strategies, and then tactics. So as you can see, it's five different levels, but in reality, it's four: goals, objectives, strategies, and tactics. And every of these levels or
Hmm.
layers, it's more and more and more and more specific, right? Let me give you an example. So the goal is to achieve, let's put, 100% return this year. That's the goal. Objectives. The objectives is to trade the S&P futures market, right? During the mornings, and follow my trading plan. I'm just, thinking out loud. The strategy. What is the strategy? Okay, the strategy is to achieve this goal, to achieve this objective that needs to be achieved to get this goal down, right? I need to My strategies to for this year would be to trade only in the mornings, trade only the 15-minute time frame, right? And not trade on Fridays, for example. I'm just giving you an example. It's not like that
Hmm.
exactly, but you need to really, really go down to that. And then the tactics. Okay, so to trade in the morning, the morning session for my specific strategy that I want to trade every morning, I need to start analyzing the market at 9:30, and then be ready to engage the market at 9:45, the latest. That's my tactic. Okay.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
as you can see, there's a very interesting layering of the things that I want to achieve. So again, write this down: goals, well, vision, right, or dream, but goals, objectives, strategies, and tactics. I
Hmm.
go really in depth. And one of the lessons of Module 1 in the Trading Performance Mastery program, I really go in depth with very, clear examples of this. But as you can see, it comes down to doing the things that you need to do every single day, every single hour, day in and day out, to achieve this big objective or this big goal, right?
Hmm.
Everything is linked. So if I just say I want to make a lot of money this year, congratulations, that's a good intention. It's not a goal, it's not an objective, it's not a strategy, it's not a tactic, right? I
Yeah.
want to be rich. Okay, here's a dollar. You're a dollar richer, right? So you need to have clarity. And let me tell you something about goals that it's very, 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 very important. Please do not underestimate the power of writing your goals. About what is it 60, 60, 70 years ago, there was a study that they did in Harvard University, right, in which they asked the graduates. There's a bunch of graduates, and they were like, okay, how many of you have a goal and dream, now that you're graduating school, blah blah blah? How many of you have a goal and dream for your lives? And 70% of people said, I do. Phenomenal, great for you. How many of you have your goals written down? And only 3% of those people have their goals in paper,
Written down.
on
Yeah.
paper, right? Guess what? 15 years later, they bring in all the class again, and lo and behold, the 3% of people that have their goals written down have achieved more wealth than the other 97% combined.
Nice.
So
Is that how you said Harvard
Yeah,
study? Yeah.
it was a
Okay.
study in Harvard. Yeah, 60, 70 years ago. It's true.
Interesting.
So
Nice.
why is this? Like like that's BS. Come on. No, I have it in my head. I know I want my Lamborghini. Come on. No, no, no. Listen, there's a reason why. The first is, and I'm gonna get a little woo-woo here. I'm not gonna go into, too deep, but when you're thinking something, it's different than when you're saying it, than when
Mm-hmm.
you're writing it. Quantum physics right now has demonstrated that when an electron becomes a particle, when you observe it, meaning that you say it and then you write it down, it becomes a thing. It becomes physical, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if I say I want $1 million this year and I write it down, right? By the way, blue pen or blue ink and white paper is better for the brain, right? It's a great contrast, so it's better. Now I am bringing it into existence, right? So it's a process of capturing your dream, right? Your objective,
Mm-hmm.
right? And transferring it to this realm. It's not a thought anymore, it's something physical, right? That's very, very, very important. And write this down. And the second reason, very important as well, is that when you're writing down physically with your hand, right, on a piece of paper, the number of neural pathways and neurotransmitters that go in your brain, it's thousands, because you're moving hundreds of muscles in your hand, your wrist, your arm, your forearm, everything, right? Your head, your neck, your eyes, all of this is like muscles, right? And your body, you're doing something. As opposed to typing, and much worse with your phone, right? When you're using just your two thumbs.
Mm-hmm.
So it's much, much less pathways that
Yeah.
populate your brain. So when you're writing down, there's all these goals, even if it's just one or two things that are very specific, right? All of these goals are gonna populate your brain in 1,000 different locations, right? So that's why it is very important for you guys to write down your goals. And listen, in a year from now, we're gonna be having another call like this one. And I guarantee that the people that wrote down their goals today, not tomorrow, not next Monday, not on Saturday afternoon when you're feeling good, right now, after this call, after we finish this call, stop whatever you're doing and write down your goals. It takes 5 minutes, 10 minutes. And if you take longer than that, phenomenal, great. That means you're really, really, really committed to your success, to your goals, to your dreams.
Yeah.
But do it today. Do not wait longer, right? Even if it's I want a new car. Write it down. What's the name of the car? Okay, I want a Volvo, whatever, right? Or I
Mm-hmm.
want a BMW. Okay, what BMW? What color? Write it down. Make it physical. Transfer it to this realm. And I'm not gonna get more woo-woo than that because it's a very interesting topic, blah blah. But the thing is, guys, the likelihood. I don't know if there's 10 people in this call or 100 or 500. I don't know. I don't care. Thing is, I know that the people that do this today have 60, 70, or 80% more chance to achieve their goals than the people that brush me off. And they're like, he's fine. He doesn't know what he's talking about. I know what I want in my head. Okay, good
Mm-hmm.
for you, brother. Great. But please follow this advice. It is real, right? And I
Yep.
would love to hear a person that is in this call and, a year later, again in this call to say, hey, JV, I followed your advice. Here's my goal that I wrote in, January 8th, 2026, saying this, and here it is. I would love to hear that, because those things
I mean,
happen.
I 100% agree. I think it also adds some sort of a level of accountability, meaning like if you just have your goals in the head, you're going to forget about them from time to time. If you have it on a paper on your work desk, you're going to be reminded of your goals. So I think definitely it's better to write them down.
Yeah,
Also, guys, if you want to, you can write it down. You can send it to me or JV to the Instagram to have an extra level of accountability, because you showed us what's your goal.
absolutely.
Now you have to make it. So definitely do that. That's a
But
good advice.
they have to send pictures of their paper, right?
Yeah,
Not
yeah,
like
yeah,
copy paste from their notes on their phones. No, that
yeah.
does not. Yeah, that does not count. If you already have it in your phone, phenomenal. That's great. Put it on paper right now.
Yeah.
Right after this call, go and write it down. I write my goals every single day. Man, that's too much. Why? Every single day? Yes, because every single day I'm a different man, right? I think
Mm-hmm.
different. I have a new insight. I learned something new, and I have a new different angle from all this infinity it's called life. And if I'm willing to achieve something very specific this year, I need to write about it every day, even if I do for a minute or two. It doesn't have to be hours, right? Those small habits, right, really really compound when you do it with your heart and when you're committed to them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Someone said in the chat, I have written on the 13th of December, I will send you a photo. Send it to us, send it to me or JV on Instagram. But as JV said, don't write it down, just send us the picture of it.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was a good topic. Now there's other questions, but I'll probably leave them for the next session, because I don't think we're going to answer all of them. But I would like you to answer my question. I see too many books behind you. What is your list of top 3 books that you would recommend to beginner, advanced, or professional trader? Doesn't matter. Your top pick of the 3 top books that you would recommend us to have a read.
About trading or about anything?
About anything that will help us improve in 2026, whenever on personal life, whenever in trading, something that will help us level up.
Wow, man. Do you want
Too
to
many
be here
books.
another 2 hours or what? No, listen, we can definitely talk about uh, um, literature another time, but I mean, there's a ton of good books here.
Uh-huh.
Atomic Habits is a great book by James Clear. People talk about
Atomic
it.
Habits.
Atomic Habits,
Yeah.
great book. In line with what we have been talking today, right? Mindset by Carl Dweck, right?
Okay.
That she coined the term mindset. She's a psychologist from Stanford University, I believe. It's a great book as well. Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz. He talks about the concept of self-image. And Jake, I believe that that's one of the most important topics, and we can definitely do another call and talk about self-image as well. It is one of the lessons in the Performance Mastery Program, Module 1. You need to see yourself in a different way, right? Even if you
Okay.
like yourself, right? Even if you love yourself, if you want to become really successful, you need to see yourself as that successful person. And there's so much to say about this concept of self-image. Great book about it, of course.
Okay.
The Art of Learning. This is a phenomenal book, man. This is one of the best books ever. Well, I mean,
Okay.
or,
So
or you can buy my book on Amazon. not an advertising, of course.
of course. So yeah, you can.
Trading,
I'll include it in the description. If you can give us like a list of 3 to 5 best books that we can start reading in 2026, because that is also a good habit to develop, like reading the books, educating yourself on daily basis, at least on weekly basis. So I will include it in the description, guys. If you
Okay.
want to improve in the field that or the topic that we have just cracked down with JV, we're going to include in the description JV's list of top 3 or top
Yeah.
five books that you should
Yeah,
give it a go.
And this has more here and more over there. There's a ton of books around here.
I
Anyway,
believe so. Yeah,
Market
now I know
Wizards.
where the knowledge coming from. So
Yeah,
yeah.
Market Wizards by Jack Schrager is
Mhm.
really
That's
phenomenal
a good one.
book as well. Of course, Trading the Zone by Mark Douglas. I've read this book so many times, man. It's like you can see like it's highlighted in so many different colors, right? Because I've read it like a ton of times, and every time I read it, it's like a great read. Um, Best Loser Wins by Tom Hogarth is a great book as well. Market Mind Games by Denise Scholl, phenomenal book as well. So I don't know. Let me think of
Yeah.
what would be the three books that you could like are most likely to get anywhere in the world as well.
Hmm.
Is there other books that are harder to get? But
Of
definitely, I
course.
mean, you know, leaders are readers, and when you're reading a book, you're basically picking another people's or another person's brain, right?
Yeah.
And you're learning and you're getting an insight different from your own. So yeah,
Hmm.
definitely, that's a good habit for sure. You
Yeah.
need to be reading, even if you're reading 5-10 minutes every day. Read. Put a book where instead of opening Instagram, for example, just have a book close to you and open it and read one page, and then momentum hits, and then you read the next one, and then the
Hmm.
next one, and then you're like, okay, let me finish this paragraph, oh, let me finish this chapter, and then you just
Hmm.
read 25 minutes and you didn't even know. that's
Yeah.
that's how habit stacking works. uh, James Clear talks about that in the book of Atomic Habits, a great book as well. But yeah, I mean,
Okay.
phenomenal
Well,
books around here. But yeah, we can talk about books
after
in
the
another
live stream,
session.
I'm gonna give you some time. You can choose your list, and then I'm going to include it for you guys in the description of this live, of the recording of this live. So
Absolutely.
yeah, so we have discussed at least what you are willing to change. I think there was a lot of insight from your part, what we can start doing and implementing at the start of 2026 to make this year actually, or to level up this year and to get closer to whoever we want to be. So thank you so much, JV, for the insights and for the
Thank you, Jay.
tips. Thank you guys for being here. And if you'll have any other questions, also feel free to leave them in a Discord, JV, and I will bring it up on the next session. That was
Absolutely.
going to be, what are you willing to give up? Is it right? What are you willing to give up?
What are you willing to give up?
Yeah. What are yeah.
That
So,
that
yeah.
comes so in line with becoming more disciplined, for sure.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, thank you all for coming in today and listen to these two crazy guys talk to you. Right? We wish you all the best.
Yeah.
We love this company. We love trading, and when you're aligned with what you want to achieve, and when you associate with people that want the same thing for them,
Hmm.
you start vibrating differently, right? And you start feeling better, and when you feel better, you take better trades
Yeah.
and so forth. So yeah, feel free to participate as much as you can in the community, in the trading floor, in the Discord channel as well. We're going to be way more active this year there, and we're going to
Hmm.
be launching the program very, very soon as well, with a lot more to come in trading performance and psychology and tons of good things for you guys to knock it out of the park this year. It's going to be a phenomenal year. It's going to
Yeah.
be a phenomenal rest of the decade, right? That will go like this. All of a sudden, it's
Hmm.
going to be 2030. You're going to see that. But yeah, for sure. All the best to you guys. All the best to everybody. Thank you so much, Jake. And you're great. You're a great host and a great trader as well, of course. So I'll catch you guys, or we'll catch you guys later
Yeah,
for sure.
next time. Thank you, JV. Okay, thank you guys. Catch you next time. Take care.
Take care.